First, I'm going to review just some basic things that want to prepare you for what you're going to need to do in the midterm. And since they were kind of new and they weren't in the textbook, I'm going to do a little review of basic shape animation. Then I'm going to take a look at alternatives to PowerPoint, because you may find that another version, another software package may just be much more friendly for you, and it may wow your audience with fun stuff that you can show them an alternative. So let's first do a quick review of shape animation. Basically, I'll call this practice for the midterm. So I'm going to start a PowerPoint. I'm going to do a blank PowerPoint, and I'll just call it practice. Practice animation. Let's do something on our master slide, giving us a little practice on our master slide. You can animate on the master slide as well. So let's go to our View, Slide Master, go all the way to the top, I'll call that the Super Master of our slide masters. And let's have every slide, when it appears, have our company name float in or fade in after as we enter the slide. Just a nice effect we're presenting to our customer. We want them to remember our company. So let's go to our company, and we'll go over here to Emmaus, the website. And I'm going to grab that logo image. I can right-click, copy image on that web page. Handy thing to do. Not sure exactly what I'm going to get. We'll find out. Right-click, copy image, and then go back over to PowerPoint, and let's do a paste in the top master slide. So I'm going to do a Control-V paste, and there is a large icon there. I need to fill it, though. I need a background color in order for this to show up right. Let's see if I can add let's see, that's an image. I guess I need to put a blue background behind that, and then I'll group them together to make them a nice image. So a little manipulation here. Let's go ahead and go to my home page, and we'll insert a rectangle right behind that and give it a blue color. Looks okay, and I will send it to the back. Going here to send to back. And now I have a decent little image with Emmaus Bible College. Let's group that by clicking on that and control-clicking on the picture in front of it. And now I can group it by going over here to Group. Now I can treat that I can treat that as one image, grab a corner, and I can shrink it, and I can rotate it. And I'll put it over here on the side. And let's see, you can decide where to, I'm going to put it up here in the upper left. Now the animation part. So I've simply created a graphic, and if you create a different graphic, that's fine. But creating a graphic, and now while I'm on the master slide, I'm going to create an animation. And my plan is, remember, automatically fade in. So animation, here's the fade. If you would like to have another animation of the green, you could choose a different one, but I'm choosing fade, and I'm going to have it fade automatically with previous. That means as the slide is transitioning in, it's going to fade in, and I'll have a fade. I'll make it more than, let's make it we'll have it a 1 second fade. And because it's on my master slide, it's going to show up on every slide that I create in my presentation. So now I can close my master slide either by clicking here down on normal view here, or going to the view page and going to the slide master page, close master view. And now let's add a new slide, Control M, and just to see how it works, I'm going to now play the presentation hitting F5. See how that fades in? I go to the next slide, and the mask fades in a second. It fades in immediately. If I ever want to have a delay on that, I can go back to View Master Slides, Slide Master, go to the very top. When I select on that and go to Animations, I see it has a duration of 1. I'm going to change the delay just for a little bit of effect. Maybe I'll have a delay by 1 second and then a 1 second fade. Okay, so that's a simple animation on the master slide. Entrance animation, when you have one thing happening, it's really easy. Now let's go back to our main slides, and let's do something fancier with animation. Let's practice the various types of animation that I mentioned here in the notes. We're going to do entrance, enhance, exit, and the on click of animation. All right, so let's first do a shape. We're going to go insert. You can insert here or do the insert page. I'll insert right here. I'll insert a shape. I'm going to do a rectangle first. And just for for comparison, I'm going to leave him unanimated. No animation there. Let's insert another shape of a triangle. And let's add an entrance animation to that triangle. Go to the Animations tab, and let's do something exciting. Let's do the bounce animation. That's always fun. Now remember, that's an entrance animation. Let's now draw another shape, and we'll make him, let's see, we'll make him a circle. Let's do an animation, entrance animation to him, and we'll have him fly in. Default is from the bottom. Let's have him fly in diagonally from the lower left. He is currently waiting for a click for entrance animation. Let's change his start from on click to after previous. That means after the triangle comes in, then the circle will come in. Let's see how that works. Play the slide. There's the automatic on the master slide, waiting for a click of the triangle to come in. Once the triangle is done coming in, without another click, the circle comes in because it was set to come in after previous. Now let's add another animation to the circle. This is one that is kind of fun to do. Let's add to him an emphasis. Now remember, be careful. Do not change this one. Add an additional animation to the circle. Let's add a emphasis animation. Let's have him do a grow shrink, because a spin of a circle isn't terribly noticeable. So a grow shrink is now an additional animation. It's waiting for the second click. See how we have one on both of these? Because they're gonna happen on the first click, one after another. The next click, the circle will grow shrink. The yellow animation emphasis, and see how that's red because I've selected it. If I want to change what he does on the first click, I can click on that, and I see that he has a fly in. Click on the 2. I see that his second animation is a grow shrink. Now let's add an additional animation to the circle just for a little bit of practice at that next kind of animation. Add another emphasis animation, and let's make it a color pulse. Now initially it'll say, okay, I'll do a color plus the third time that you click on my slide. But there is another way to trigger that animation that we're going to do. Here over on the trigger, I can choose trigger on click of. Trigger on click of, and I'm going to say trigger on click of that oval. This is the one that most people forget how to do, so practice this. Select the circle, add the animation, and we're going to change the trigger to trigger on click of. And when I click on it, it will do that animation. which is going to be a color pulse. Now let's see how this all works. There's the square, no animation, it's there all the time. Click once, triangle comes in, followed by the circle. Click again and the circle will grow. Because I have the trigger animation, anytime I hover over the circle, I will get the little pointy finger, and I click on it, it will do the color pulse. Anytime I hover over it. That's the trigger animation. Now, one more animation. Let's add another shape. And we'll choose, what do we have here? Let's choose a lightning bolt. Without an entrance animation, he will appear on that slide before I do anything. So let's add an entrance animation to him by going to animations. Since he doesn't have any animation yet, I can select one of these. And let's give him an entrance animation of, let's do a zoom. Because he is set to be on the third click. Suppose I want to change his order of animation. Suppose I want him to come in after the triangle and circle appear. Well, this is where the animation pane comes in handy. Click here in the animation pane, and I can change the order of the animation. I can grab him and slide him up so he comes in after the triangle and oval have come in. The animation pane is handy when you have a lot of things happening. So there's an example, a good use of the animation pane. And now, one more animation and we'll be done with our little practice. Let's have, I'll close that animation pane for now. Let's have this, control select this, and control select this. Let's have all of them have an exit animation. And you know what? Let's have the square that's been sitting there all the time. Let's have him also exit. I'm going to control select him. And now I'm going to add an exit animation. And we can have them all, let's have them all, we'll do a zoom out. Because I have them all selected, they all have an additional number 4 added to them. The fourth click will have them all disappear at the same time. I can decide how long that disappear is. I can see on the animation pane that they're all set to disappear with that red exit animation at the same time. So let's see how that plays now. Wait for that first click, triangle then circle, click once. Here they come. Anytime I hover over the circle, it will do the color pulse. If I click somewhere else, it will do the entrance of that lightning bolt that came after that entrance. And now, one more click, and this guy should grow shrink, right? That's the third click. And now on the fourth click, they will all leave. And then the next click will take me to my next slide. Just for fun, let's have it so when we click the lightning bolt, it'll make a voltage sound. How would I do that? Well, I don't want to mess up the existing animation, so I select the lightning bolt, add animation, and any of the yellow emphasis will allow me to make this a trigger on click of. So let's do a color pulse. And let's set the trigger to be on click of the lightning bolt. Trigger on click of lightning bolt. And now how do I make it a sound? May I have it make a sound? I can come here to effect options. That's my color pulse effect. We'll have it go yellow. But also here I can go to my additional options and have it make a sound when it does a color pulse. And we'll have it do the voltage sound. So getting pretty fancy, and this is again where the animation pane helps you see all the things happening. Two things down here are special animations set to trigger. These are coming in sequence. And if I want to change the sequence, the animation pane is the easiest way to change the sequence. Let's play it now and see all the animation we're doing. Automated from the master slide. Triangle, circle come in. Hover or triggered click. Click anywhere else. Here comes the lightning bolt. He now has a trigger, a voltage sound. Anywhere else, and the circle grows, and then one more click anywhere else, and they all leave together. Lots of things you can do. Of course, I don't think you'll ever go this crazy in a slide, but this is just to show you all the things you can do. You can still move them around just like any shapes, and you can even have the the motion effects. Those are fun little things to do. Have things fly around on your page. All these effects now are in your toolbox. Okay, that's enough for PowerPoint. Now it's time to look at alternatives to PowerPoint. How would I find out about alternatives? That's a great search term. If you go to the internet and just do a search for PowerPoint alternative, Keynote is what's the PowerPoint for Mac people. There's many other possible presentation software. LibreOffice is free, very much Microsoft Office-like. And one of the things we want to look at, let's see if it shows up here. Let's try this guy. He shows, after I select all the cookies, he shows number 4 is the one that we want to look at. Keynote is your Mac. Google Slides, that's a great thing. If you're logged into Google, you can always go here to create a Google slide presentation. The slides presentations in Google are so simple, I'm not even going to go over them. It's very much PowerPoint-like, but I'd say less features, less animation, but you can do very, very much PowerPoint-like. What I want to go to look at is the software called Prezi. It's a cool alternative, still popular out there, and I'm logged in as JSmart. You can go to Prezi.com, and this is an assignment in Schoology, so you can start one up and help get that assignment done. Make sure here there's an assignment here. Yeah, Prezi presentation assignment. I'm looking at that now over in Schoology, and basically, if you're logged in, this will work a little easier for you. So I'm logged in as JSmart. Here's an example what your login will look like. And we're basically going to create a presentation and share it to me. When you submit it, you're going to share the link to your Prezi. So you'll get credit just for playing with Prezi today. Okay, so let's see what we can do with Prezi. I go to Prezi.com. I am logged in as JSmart. The reason that makes it easier, when I go to Prezi.com, I can just go to Prezi for Students. And I'm going to try Prezi for free. You could do Get Started or try Prezi for free. I think they're the same link. Let's see what happens. Prezi for free. Since I'm logged in, I can come down and just sign up with Google. This makes it a little easier to do my sign in rather than having to fill all this in. So sign up with Google. It creates an account for me if I don't already have one. And now I'm going to create a presentation. Let's start by just creating one using one of their templates, and then we'll come back and do our own. So create presentation. It offers me lots of templates. Sadly, it doesn't give me a blank template. Even the start from blank has lots of slides in it. Let's just experiment with one. Let's try this colorful one. just to get a taste of what Prezi does. I'm going to use this template. And I'll try that again. Use this template. There we go. Title. I'll call it Test Sample JSmart. I'm going to share it with anyone on the web and continue. I'm going to skip adding more details. It is now creating my presentation. They're advertising an AI assistant. I have not used the AI assistant yet. I'm going to skip the AI assistant and jump right to start editing. And it is quite a bit different than PowerPoint. You have a master frame, I call this the big picture. And you have subframes that zoom in on pieces of your big picture. So with Prezi, you're creating frames on top of a main frame. So the approach is flying from one slide to another in a main big picture. And it's cool, but your transition is basically flying across the big picture all the time. And in this sample, man, they give you a bunch of slides. They give you 26 slides, and their last slide zooms back out to the main frame. So basically what you're doing, instead of creating individual slides, you're creating frames on top of a big main picture. And your transition is flying from one slide to the next, zooming out, zooming over to the other slide. So I can come back to the main frame, and suppose I like slide number 1 there. There's slide number, is that slide number 1? Yeah, there's slide number 1. I can roll my mouse and zoom out, and I'm going to close that. Slide number 1 is here in green. If I want to rotate that slide, let's see, I select it, and if I ever put my cursor next to a corner, a little curvy arrow appears, I can rotate that slide number 1. I think that's slide number, maybe this is slide number 1, sorry. There's slide number 1. Let's see what happens when I click on this. Okay, that is, yeah, slide number 1 is all the little circles in the middle. Introduction is over here. I can zoom out, and I can rotate him or move him around, select him, rotate him, and when I fly over to him, my big picture will rotate to go with that rotation of that frame. So with Prezi, you're adding frames and then filling in frames, always flying over the big picture main frame. Okay, so we kind of have that idea. Let's build our own now by starting a new one. So let's do a new presentation. Let's do File, New Presentation. This time, let's do a blank presentation. New blank presentation. And what I'm going to do now, it has given me lots of frames already. But let's add a big picture to this one, and we're going to do a presentation of the journeys of Paul. So I'm going to go grab a picture of the missionary journeys of Paul, and then we'll place frames on that picture. I can delete these and add my own frames or modify these. So I'm going to go grab an image of the missionary journeys of Paul, and then we'll make that our big picture background by editing the main frame. So here we go. I'm going to go look for missionary journey Paul. And I can throw, I guess map is a good term in there. And I'm going to choose, let's see, I have that first one, there's the first one. How about the one that has all three? Do we have all three? Let's do images. Let's see if I have one that contains all three. It looks like this one here has all three. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to come and right-click, copy, image. And let's go back to Prezi and paste. In the main frame, have that main frame selected and paste. And now I'm going to stretch it across to fit my whole main frame slide. And I guess I can move it. And let's see, can I send it to the back? Let's see, let's try right-click on it and send to back. So it's going to be behind everything. Now, I would like my first slide to start. Let's see, how readable is that? Oh, it's not very readable. That's kind of disappointing. I'm going to try different. That's not a good enough image. It's so fuzzy when I zoom in. Let's try a different one. Sorry. Oh, wait a minute. Is it getting better? No, it's not getting better. Let's delete that one. That's not as high res as I was hoping. Let's see, what does it say? Do I have a better one? Let's try this one. There it is, 1024 by 648. Let's try that one. Right click, copy image. Let's see if that's a better quality. I'm going to do a paste. Thought I did a paste. Let's try the copy paste again. Right click, copy image. Paste. My paste isn't working. What happened? Am I being impatient? Background, main slide, paste. Well, that's disappointing. Sometimes websites don't let you paste or copy. Well, let's try a different one. Let's see if that one will work. That one's 1600 by 900. Let's try a copy of that one. Let's see if that zooms decently. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, I'll use that one. And I'm going to right click, send it to the back. Okay, now my first frame, if I click on it, is sitting right there. I'm going to reduce the size of this frame by clicking on it on the edge and shrinking it down a bit, moving it over the city of Antioch, and maybe not have it go off the edge of the map. And let's see what happens if I go to the main picture there, click on my first slides, zooms to that part now. Now there's a lot of extra things sitting around here that are kind of confusing. Let's get rid of that. I don't need that. I'm going to click delete. Here's a subtitle. Here's some text. And I can do all sorts of modifying of its style. Let's just change the text to be the sending off of Paul and Barnabas. So I have to go find that scripture somewhere in Acts. Go to Bible Gateway. And go find the sending off from Antioch. So Acts 13 is where they send off Paul. So let's go to Acts 13. And let's look at the full chapter. And we see in Acts 13, chapter 3, they sent them off. I suppose we could do verse 2 and 3, copy, come back to that presentation, replace this text with Acts 13, and Control V, paste that text. And let's see, if I enlarge this, will yeah, if I enlarge that, it enlarges my text. Because of my background of my map, I think I need a fill behind that text of a little bit of, let's see, semi-transparent white. Let's try semi-transparent white. Change the opacity a bit so I do get a little bit of the texture. Oh, that's the corner rays. Change the opacity a little bit, just so I get a little bit of a view of the texture behind. And there I have my text. Now I have these other texts sitting around that I can delete and add different text later. So here's my first slide. I can zoom out. I can adjust the size of that slide, how it zooms. I see that green border when I'm hovering over it. I can click on that border and then adjust the size of that. And then I can move it right near the city of Antioch. And just for a little bit of interest, I'm going to rotate that a tiny bit, just for just a little effect. Now let's see the effect of that. There's my big picture. I'm going to move that title over here. We'll call it, triple click on it, edit that. I guess I thought I could select it all. Call it Paul's Missionary Journeys. That will be my title. Now let's see what happens if I click on this slide. There I will zoom into that part of the map. I could add images to this slide. You can add additional things. Other pieces that are part of other frames will still show up. Now this I did by modifying an existing slide because they came in with the sample. Let's suppose I want to delete those others and add them, learn how to add slides on my own. So I'm going to delete those samples. Let's see, ellipsis, delete, ellipsis, delete. I want to learn how to add my own and not have all these slides in my, extra slides in my way. I want to really start from scratch. Okay, now I have my one slide. Let's add an additional slide to my presentation. To do that, I can right click. Where is the add? I'm looking for the add. I want to add an additional slide. There was a little plus symbol last time. I thought the right click, there was a, what happened to my plus? Oh, here's a plus, so let's see what that does. That's my zoom. I'm looking for add a slide. Let's see if it's hiding under here. Oh, here we go. Here, add a frame right here. Insert frame. I can put my frame anywhere. I'm going to put it over the island of Paphos, or of Cyprus. So I'm going to select here and then resize down to the size of that island. There is my new frame. And he pops up a little help for me. I can close the help. Let's go to that frame by clicking on it here now. It zooms into that frame. And let's add some text to here. I think it has some other frames around. Let's add a text to this. So right click, or I can click up here, text. And here will be on Cyprus. I'm going to enlarge that and add the scripture to that from Bible Gateway, where they're on Cyprus. And I'll choose verse 4 and 5. Control C, copy. Come back over to here and paste that text. Acts 13. I think it will size the text to fit the box. Let's see, 13, paste, and it's a little large. So let's select all. Let's try to select all here in this text. There we go. Here I'm in this text. Let's try a, uh-oh, it's not letting me select. Let's try, I can move it. Let's see, oh, here I can adjust my text size right here. There we go. Let's see if Control Shift less than works. No, Control Shift less than doesn't work. And let's give that also a background of fill of that frame. Let's give him a background fill in my style. Actually, that text, I want to fill the background with, here we go, background with white and a little bit of opacity. And again, just for a little bit of variation, let's select that frame. I can zoom out a little bit, see that frame. I can select the frame and get near a corner and rotate him a little bit. So now I'll go to the first slide, over to Antioch, see that scripture. Next slide, over to Cyprus with that scripture. And let's add one more where then they sail on to Europe and leave Mark behind, or John Mark abandons them. Okay, I'm happy now. Add another frame, clear. Place it up there. Oh, I clicked off of it so it wouldn't place it. Let's try that again. I don't know why I can't grab and move my, I need to, there we go. Right click lets you move them around. Let's add that frame again. And I'm going to place it here and shrink it to be hovering over Perga. Drag that down around there. Oh, I accidentally dragged that one. That's the frame I want to drag. There we go. Drag that down around there. Give him a little rotation. And maybe I'll shrink it a little bit more. And now when I click on it, or roll my mouse, click on 3, now I can add a scripture to that frame. So, insert text, edit the text, and the text is going to be they're going to Pisidia. So verse 13 and, yeah, we'll go 13 and 14. The first two cities in Turkey. Copy. And then paste. And if I do a select all here, I can, let's see, try Control Shift greater than, nope, Control Shift less than or greater than doesn't work. I can shrink my text size so it fits within my frame. And I'll also do the fill with some opacity or some transparency. And there I have a frame. And just for fun, let's see, we'll rotate that just a tiny bit. I want to rotate my whole frame. So let's select the frame and rotate the frame, not just the text. So select the frame and near the corner, rotate that a tiny bit. Now I could be putting images in this frame that would be part of that slide. But notice this feature of Prezi, all your slides are seen and they even can overlap the previous slide. So if I put two slides close together, I'll probably want one to be in front or behind the other because they'll be blocking each other. Fortunately, I don't have any slides that are overlapping, but if I wanted to do the whole map and what they did throughout this area, I might want a slide to disappear or something. Well, with Prezi, you don't have all those options. your transition is always fly from one slide to the next. That's just the way Prezi works. And it's a cool effect, but after a while you might think, well, maybe I don't want to do this flying from one slide to another. Well, that's kind of just what Prezi gives you. And the idea is the guy that invented Prezi, the way he wanted to do presentation was the big picture always in view. And so that's why he invented Prezi. And it's been popular enough. It's been around now for several years. And they've changed how it works, and mostly improvements. But this whole idea of flying from one piece of the big picture to another. Now, with certain topics, this idea of keeping the big picture in mind can be very useful and important to your presentation. I'm going to get rid of that extra slide over here. And you can do this. You can have there is a Prezi app that you can have on your phone. So it's pretty powerful. And why isn't that letting me delete? There we go. Pretty powerful product that even if you don't have the edit capabilities, you can present it. So once I have my slides, I can now just do a present. Brings me to my first slide. I click, does a little zoom, click again, and now it flies out. And I click again, and it should fly into my next. Maybe I'll do my arrow keys instead. There we go. I do my arrow keys. It flies through my slides. And then you can, typically your last slide is zoom out to your main frame. So all I'm asking you to do here is play with Prezi a bit, and then let's get the sharing part done. I'm going to delete that. I don't know why these stuck around. I thought if I deleted them over here, they would delete them on my map, but they're not. Select and delete. There we go. So now let's figure out how do you share it so you can submit this to Schoology. Well, let's see here. Where is there a share? There's present. Record as a video. Let's see, what's this? There we go. Get link, export, share broadcast link, or collaborate. So you can share it with someone to actually edit it with you. Let's just do the get link for the sharing. So at upper left, looks like an upload, but it's a share. Get the link. Create the link. I'll call it JSmart Prezi for cs101. SP24. I don't need to track. I think if anything I want extra, I have to pay money for it and do the upgrade. No, I don't want to do the upgrade. I'm just going to create the link, and I'm going to copy the link. That is the link I want to now put in this submission. So once you did the up here, upper right, get link, copy the link after not selecting the extras. There we go. I want to go away. There, copy. And then go to Schoology as JSmart. I'll log in. And then go down to the assignment. Prezi presentation. In the submission, I'm just going to go to the create and put in, here is the link to my Prezi. Going to Control V, paste that link. And just to make it nicely selectable or clickable, I'll select the text, create a link that takes me there. Google does this for you automatically. Schoology doesn't. You have to click the link, paste the URL there too. I like to do open in new tab all the time. Now that becomes a link to my presentation. I can just click on it, it'll take me there. And now I have submitted the assignment. That's all you have to do today for the Prezi. And I will update the due date so it doesn't show that you're late, because you're not late if you do it today. Now don't worry if your Prezi is not as elaborate as mine. The main thing is here, give you an exposure to Prezi as a possible presentation option for you. And of course I would start with a template, but templates can be confusing because they've done all this and you don't know how to, they haven't shown you how to do this yourself. So I like doing it from scratch to learn how to build my own slides. And they're not slides, they're frames that live on the master frame. So you got a master big picture. I'm going to give him a background transparency. Let's see here. And remember the sharing part. All you got to do is get the link and give that link to me in your submission. And one thing I've learned is even if you delete them over here, the things that got created over here still remain. Let's see if I can delete all of those. No, I have to delete these one at a time. They were in my sample, and annoyingly they don't go away if I delete the frame that they were in. So start from scratch is really not a start from completely from scratch. It's start with some samples in there. There, I think I've gotten rid of the extra things that were there. So zooming in piece by piece, like you're explaining how a guitar works. You have the big guitar and you hover over each piece of the guitar. Some mechanical thing. I think it's very good for like a travel, where you see the big map. Where are you going from one place to another? So it's like PowerPoint, but your transitioning is always a fly from one slide to another across the big picture. And there's some really cool things you can do, like you're rotating around a big circle for your slide transition effect. And it's all in the cloud. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little excursion, little travel over to alternative to Prezi. I'm going to have my last frame view the big picture by adding a frame, and I'm going to stretch it all the way across the entire slide. So my last frame will be a zoom out. And you can keep editing it even after you share the link with me, and I will see your modified presentation. And I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy the weather. Don't enjoy it too much. Get their studies done first. And I will upload this